Family, today I want us to talk about psychosis. Psychosis is impacting so many people negatively, and we need to understand and debunk the myth that it only exists in mental illnesses, like serious mental illnesses. Anyone can become psychotic at any point in time, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man. It can impact your cognition, it can impact your interpersonal relationship, it can impact your behavior and your affect and your mood. Psychosis can impact a child, an adult, father, mother, whether you are a priest, whether you are a nun, whether you are a widow. It has no respect for any type of a person. You could be a president and become psychotic. What can cause psychosis? First of all, let's define what psychosis is. Psychosis is inability to differentiate between what is real and what is not real. What is real is what is tangible, right? We have evidence to support it. Like this cup is real. I can feel it. I can see a black cup in front of me, right? What is not real is what maybe your mind is playing on you, or your own fixed beliefs that is unchangeable or is resistant to change. So anything you believe in that is not funded, anything that you cannot prove but you believe in, whether you think someone is sitting in front of you and nobody else can see it but just you, could be examples of psychosis. How can one become psychotic? How can one have problems differentiating what is real from what is unreal? Several factors. It could be childbirth. Some women become psychotic after delivery. In those instances, sometimes researchers blame it on the significant drop in hormone levels. The hormones that support the pregnancy. When it drops significantly because the baby is no longer available to be supported when the woman delivers, is blamed to be the cause of such psychosis. Sometimes it's not founded. There is no evidence. There is nothing pointing to why a person may be psychotic. Medications could cause psychosis. Medications like steroid therapy, some antibiotics can cause psychosis. Also, street substances like cannabis, marijuana, the same as cannabis, methamphetamines, crack cocaine, alcohol, excessive substance use can make one become psychotic. Sometimes medical conditions like thyroid disease, autoimmune thyroid impact could make one psychotic when your thyroid gland is secreting crazily. Also, sometimes physiological state like increased stress can make you become psychotic. If you have serious mental illness like depression that is not treated, you could become psychotic. If you have schizophrenia, so serious mental illness can make you psychotic. Also, if you have bipolar and it becomes schizoaffective disorder, it's moved over from mood to having a psychotic episode, it becomes psychotic. So anything that impacts you from telling reality versus unreality is called psychosis. Okay, and it's important to talk about it because it impacts relationship, impacts cognition and function, impacts productivity, and impacts your mood, the way you present, the way you feel about things. So there are several forms, but two main forms of psychosis that we talk about mostly is one, hallucinations, and the second one is delusions. Now with hallucinations, there are several forms of hallucinations. We have auditory hallucinations where you feel someone is talking to you. Like I'm sitting here, someone is actually beside me talking into my ears. That is auditory hallucinations. It could be commanding me to do something. It could be telling me demeaning things, making me feel unpopular about myself. That is auditory. Then it could be visual hallucinations too, where you are the only person who sees something different that other people don't see. It could be ghosts, it could be shadows, whatever you see is visual. And then we have tactile hallucination, where you feel like someone is tapping you, turn nobody's tapping you. And then we have olfactory hallucinations, where you smell something different that people around you don't smell. And then we have gustatory hallucinations, where you taste something different. And it could be associated with some other medical conditions, like migraines could make you have, an aura where you smell something before the migraine happens. That is another form of hallucination, because you are the only person who is experiencing it. Nobody else in your environment can experience it, even though you are all subject to the same conditions, right? And then let's come to delusions. Delusion simply means persistent belief, fixed belief in something that is not real. It's not based in reality. There's no justification. There is no proof, but you believe in it, whatever it is that you believe in. And there are several types of delusions. The first is persecutory delusions. That is believing that someone is out there to get you. So you go to work and every day you see a blue car driving behind you. You feel, oh, they're probably tracking me down. Could be FBI tracking me down or something. It could be a previous trauma you've experienced that is following you, making you feel that way. But you cannot change your belief because you are insistent that people are out there to get you. It could also be that, you cannot change it because, people are talking, even if they're having a conversation that is not related to you at all. You feel like they're talking about you, they're gossiping about you. That is persecutory delusions. And then we have thought insertion, delusions of thought insertion. You feel like someone is putting ideas into your head, making you think the way you think. And then we have thought broadcast, which is also another form of delusion, where you feel like people are able to read your mind, read your thoughts, what they are, what they are thinking, especially if something coincides. You're like, oh, you read my mind, you are in my mind, and you believe it. It's not like mere saying that people read your mind because you wore the same clothes. But this time, you actually mean that they read your mind and they are behaving a certain way because they're able to read what was in your mind. And then we have grandiose, delusions of grandiose or grandiosity, where you feel like you're a supernatural being, you have special magical powers, you think you are the Pope. In reality, you are not. You think you are Jesus Christ. In reality, you are not. Some of these pastors that find themselves wanting, trying to resurrect people, I think some of them may have possibly these grandiose delusions because they feel they can raise the dead. They feel they can have magical powers above everybody else to do certain things. So if you feel that way, please get yourself checked before it gets you or lands you in trouble. And then we have jealous delusions, where you feel like your spouse is cheating. Even if they're using the bathroom, you think they are there to talk to a guy or talk to a woman. No matter how they prove their love to you, no matter how they are with you, you think they are cheating on you no matter what. So that is kind of jealousy. And then we do have somatic delusions, where you strongly believe, against all reasonable doubt, that you have an infection, you have a disease condition. Let's say you think you have cancer, when medical diagnosis don't point to nothing. There's nothing supporting that delusion or belief, but you strongly feel like you have cancer. That's another form of delusion. And then we do have delusions of reference, where you look at this person's car numbers, like let's say 666 car going, you feel like it's telling you to do something, or it's giving you information. Like you're watching TV, you hear a word, you think it's a code to do something, or the FBI has special powers talking through the TV to you, and it makes you behave a certain way. And then we do have delusions of denial, where you have this problem, it's so obvious. Let's say you have substance use, you drink to stupor. Everyone sees that every day your head is down or in the mud drinking, but you are insistent that you are not alcoholic and you are in denial. Or your loved one dies, everyone knows this person died, buried, you still believe they exist, and you behaving as if they still exist. So those are delusions of denial, and there's a big word for it. In medical terms, it's called anosognosia. That is a term for delusions of denial. That's such a big term, but it's not relevant. The main thing is that you should know that there are several delusions out there. It's not limited to what I've mentioned today, and it could be impacting people, impacting relationships, impacting the way you think, the way you do your stuff. And it's up to you and me to be cognizant of it, understand it, and seek help appropriately, so it doesn't impact our functioning, it doesn't impact performance, it doesn't impact our relationship. Because in mental health, when something impacts functioning and relationship, it becomes a disorder, and it goes on persistent for a while. It becomes a condition, a chronic condition that needs to be treated. Share, like, subscribe. Me and you, we're doing this live together. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you.